Okay, so this video is a follow-up to the previous one where we went over how to describe and assign levels to variables. And so now we're still in that data set, looking at UAF, yeah, community members' responses to if they want a longer winter break or not. And so now in this one, let's go over how to conduct these frequency analyses to get tables, and then also how to get figures for frequencies. And so one little side bit of helpful information here. If you're ever working with this and you want to clean up this space, if we just select all, so I'm right clicking all, and then I'm going to say remove, and then my results are now clear. Okay, and so we can see this, and something you'll notice here that we didn't cover in the last video. After assigning levels to these variables, jamovi actually alternates what we see in our data set, right? So now we see the label instead of the number, so that's kind of convenient. Okay, so first let's start with frequency analysis. You can ignore this frequency thing. That's actually something different that I need to remove. So let's go to exploration, and then we'll click descriptives. And so descriptive statistics we'll cover in more depth in the next couple of modules. But for now, our main thing of interest is frequencies, right? We just want to see the tables like we were covering in our other conceptual and practical videos. So I'm going to maximize this here. Okay, and so let's go UAF role. Let's start with that. All right, so say we want to do this, we want to see how many people we have from these different roles. And so when we click that over, we can immediately see our output. That's one thing that's nice about jamovi is that it's fast and it just shows you things immediately. And so we can see our descriptives here. There's a lot here. Our N is our sample size. So we can see that's 1,096 people that responded to our survey that are in our data set. Missing is 0, right? So if someone didn't reply to something, then we would see like a 1 there. So missing just represents the number of cases that are missing where there should be data there, but it's not there. Mean, median, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. We'll cover those in more depth in the next few modules. But if we wanted to alter our descriptives table, we can do that clicking statistics here. And say, for example, I want to get rid of the mean and the median. I uncheck those boxes and they disappear. Same for standard deviation. Same for the minimum, same for the maximum. Right? Let's say we just want to stick to this. All right, there you have it. And so that's, yeah, the statistics drop down is where you'll find a lot of these things. And then let's say we want to do, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let's say we want to see the frequency table, right? Then we'll do like a bar graph or something. All you got to do is check this box, and there you have it. There's our frequency table. Nice and convenient and clean and quick and just wonderful. So we can see we have 801 students, we have 119 staff, 170 faculty, and 6 that were other, didn't fall in those categories. Maybe they were just visiting campus that day, but they decided to vote about winter break. Our relative percents and our cumulative percents, in this case adding from the top down. And let's say we see this, but we'd like to see a bar graph, just to help us digest this a little more quickly. If we click on plots, then we'll see these different options come about. Histogram is one thing you'll commonly see in stat software, so let's go and do that as an example. One disadvantage to that is that it doesn't really tell us much. Like we just spent time labeling these, and it doesn't show us that, right? It shows density and then UAF role, and so it's just basically a basic glimpse at the data. But let's say we want something that we could just give someone who's not familiar with it at all. We could do this, and then we see more information and context, right? So with the bar plot, we see the UAF role, student, staff, faculty, and other, and the counts. Right? And so this just helps us to visualize and see, okay, there's far more students than anyone else in our data. So we've got that. Then let's go ahead and take that back. Oh, okay, fine, let's leave it. And now let's add vote, see how people voted. Okay, one of the convenient things here is that since we're doing one descriptive analysis here, the settings we already applied for UAF roll are automatically applied here. So it immediately kicked out a frequency table. It only showed the end of the missing here, and it immediately kicked out a bar graph. Right, and so then we see here what one. This is a little noisy, right? We might be able to clean that up. I'm not sure. I'm still learning some aspects of jamovi too. But clearly it looks like longer winter break one, right? The first option. And when we look more closely at the table, we can confirm that's the case, right? 847, 77% voted yes, we want a longer winter break. 23% or 249 voted no, just leave that as current length, right? And so that's just a basic example of how to do this. One thing we can do too is we can copy these images, right? So say for example, I wanted to, I'm like building some report or something like that. I can do that, paste, and then I have this image here. If we export, then we can export it as a variety of other things. So we have a little bit more say over how we export it. So we'll go over more of those features as we go through the semester, but I like to kind of introduce them as we proceed. So that's a little bit about frequency, tables, and figures. We'll see you next time.